Welcome to the Holistic Living Podcast, my beautiful friends. You can expect my uncensored, real, and honest thoughts on a wide variety of health topics. If you love to learn on ways to improve your health, your life, your mindset, your emotions, and everything in between in a natural way, you are in the right place, and I am so excited to have you here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 26 of the Holistic Living Podcast. Today, we are talking about herpes simplex virus. I'm going to share some information on it and some things that you can do nutritionally and supplementally in order to help combat it, reduce flare-ups, all that good stuff. I have gotten so many requests for this topic, and one of the first things I want to say about herpes is that more people have it than you realize because it is so highly contagious. And so I know I've had a few people who are like super embarrassed. They're like, I'm so embarrassed to tell you this, but I have herpes. I'm wondering if you can help me, beat it and all that. And I was like, you know what? So many more people have it than you realize. Don't be embarrassed. It's super contagious. And that's what we're going into today. But I just wanted to share that because I know a lot of people think that they're like the only ones with it, but that's definitely not the case. And I find that this time of year is when a lot of people have like cold sore flare-ups and herpes flare-ups in general. And I think a lot of it has to do with the high stress that people are under in the back to school season, in like getting back into the fall, getting off of summer vacation, which is usually enjoyment and relaxation. So typically this time of year, we're also going to be eating a lot more carby kind of food, and we're going to have, like I said, higher stress levels, less sleep. All of that's going to definitely impact our immune system and have and allow this virus to flare. So let's just jump into it. Herpes simplex viruses, so there's different kinds, are human DNA viruses that cause repeated painful vesicular eruptions on the skin, typically on the oropharynx and genitals. Now, cold sores are caused by HSV1, so that herpes simplex virus 1, whereas genital herpes are caused more often by HSV2. So just a little bit about the etiology of the herpes virus. It's highly contagious, like I said, and it's contracted by either direct contact with an active lesion. HSV2 specifically can be transmitted to a newborn during passage through the birth canal of an infected mother. So children can also get infected from the parent, again, during that birthing process. So there's a few ways to contract, but like I said, it is very, very highly contagious, which is why it's so widespread. Now, the herpes simplex virus 1 creates multiple small blisters on the lips. And after the initial attack, the virus usually remains dormant in the nerve ganglion, and it often recurs during an acute illness or in response to heat and stress. So like I mentioned, during this time of year or stressful times of year in general, that's typically when you'll see flare-ups. And it's because when we're stressed out, our immune system actually becomes suppressed or weakened, and it's a perfect time for viruses to kind of come out and play and cause some issues for a while. But also, with HSV specifically, excess heat can cause flare-ups and also an acute illness. So if you got a cold or a flu, something else that's occupying your immune system, then this virus might come out to play, knowing that there's no immune system to kind of combat it. So with herpes, but also other viruses in general, something we really want to think about is that immune modulation. We have components of our immune system designed to scan our body for viruses and pathogens and cancer cells as well, but specifically viruses. It's called our Th1 immunity. It's that part of the immune system that is going through the body, looking for things that don't belong and neutralizing them, killing them off, and eliminating them. And when we are chronically stressed, or when we have elevated pathogen burdens, or if we're eating a lot of junk food and sugar and alcohol, or if we're not sleeping well, or if we're taking like chronic steroids, whether it's like topical or injected, things like that, we are going to weaken that side of the immune system, and we start to lose that pathogen and cancer surveillance. I've talked about this extensively, not just through podcast episodes, but YouTube videos, social media. The immune system is crucial for every part of our body, but especially in regards to viruses. And so if we lose some of that Th1 immune status, we're not going to be able to mount attacks against viruses in the body, and that's how they can come in and take hold in our system. So all the information I'm sharing with you, I do want you to always keep in mind that the purpose, a lot of it is to support the immune system and to boost that Th1 side of the immune system, which can potentially help us combating different viruses in the body. The other thing is, please always check with your doctor or practitioner before supplementing and taking any remedies, even if they're natural, because they might not be right for you in your situation. So always run it by your doctor or practitioner, but I will be going over some supplements and lifestyle suggestions and things shortly. Another thing I want to say is that when we are going through times of not just stress, but poor sleep, but also times of sugar consumption, that's really when our immune system can get tanked. And viruses like HSV, shingles, anything really can come out and activate. And in the case of herpes, because it is so highly contagious, it's not something that we just want to worry about for ourselves, but for those around us, our loved ones, friends, even strangers. We want to be really careful with transmitting that to someone else. But really, when we're looking at how our body's functioning, we don't want to just say, I'm going to be really clean and I'm going to be constantly washing my hands and doing all these things. We want to say, what can we do for our body to reduce our outbreak, which can therefore help others too, and help ourselves, of course. A big part of supporting our immune system is really not just making sure we're getting that good quality sleep, but honestly, guys, sugar here is the most important. When we consume sugar, our immune system is suppressed for 7 days. So imagine if, I don't know, everyone has a different kind of diet, but imagine if you're like the average person that's having a good amount of sugar daily, either through sodas, juices, muffins, bagels, cookies, chips, chocolate, whatever it might be. Every single day, you're suppressing your immune system. Your body's never going to be able to fight something off and to get something to go into dormancy or to be eradicated completely if there is that continual sugar consumption. So you can do all the things that I'm recommending, taking certain supplements and getting good sleep and managing stress. But if you are still consuming sugar or foods that are really carby like chips, it's still going to keep you flared up. So without further ado, what can we do for herpes? What are the recommendations? Well, let's start with diet. The go-to for me with my clients is I tell them right off the bat, you got to cut out coffee, tea, really caffeine in general, so even like energy drinks and stimulants, and carbonated beverages and juice. You also need to avoid sugar and alcohol as well. Even artificial sweeteners, so like diet sodas, those count. You want to avoid all of that. The reason is because these are immune suppressant. They are inflammatory. They are going to create an internal environment that is acidic, which is great for viruses to thrive in. And again, because they're immunosuppressant, they are going to inhibit our immune system's abilities at scanning our body for viruses and things like that and neutralizing them. So those are important to completely avoid. But you also want to decrease refined and simple carbs. These are, again, your pasta, your chips, your white bread and things like that, because this is pure sugar. When it breaks down, it's pure starch. There's no fiber in these foods. And so they're going to spike your insulin. They're going to spike your blood sugar. They're going to weaken the immune system as a result of that. And again, allow these viruses to kind of stay activated. You want to avoid foods that you're sensitive to as well. So if you know you have food sensitivity, say to dairy and gluten, just cut them out, even if it's not for the rest of your life, for a good period of time. Get your immune system to strengthen, get your body's inflammation levels to come down before reintroducing them. You also want to avoid foods that are high in arginine, like chocolate, nuts, peanuts, sesame seeds, beer, meat in general, gelatin, and soy. Arginine suppresses lysine, which is the amino acid that retards herpes viral growth. Lysine is found in eggs, fish, dairy products, yeast, poultry, and meat. Now, I do want to put a disclaimer here. This doesn't mean to not consume meat, okay? This is mainly just focusing on not consuming a ton of foods within the same day that are high in arginine. I am a big promoter of consuming good grass-fed organic meat because I'm a promoter of lowering carbs. So if you're cutting out meat and carbs, there's nothing left to eat. So enjoy the meat, but just try not to fill up your day with chocolate and meat and then have some beer and then have all the other stuff as well, okay? So what do we do in terms of increasing? Well, you want to make sure you're getting good enough complete protein, including some from vegetable sources. But usually I tell everyone 1 gram of protein for a pound of body weight. If you lift really heavy, you exercise extensively, and if you're male, you want to probably do 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 120 pounds for average female, you would consume about 120 grams of protein. If you weighed 160 pounds for the average male, you would consume anywhere between 160 and 190 grams of protein per day. Make sure you're getting protein, as the entire immune system and our entire body is made up of protein. Our cells are made up of amino acids, which we need the protein to replenish. You want to also drink a lot of water. Really make water your main beverage source and really cut back on the sugars, alcohols, all the other stuff. Increase your fiber intake too, guys. So this means your soluble fiber like flax and chia and hemp hearts, but also vegetable fiber as well. You want to avoid any inflammatory oils, so those trans and hydrogenated fats, the canola oils and the margarine, those kinds of things. You want to eat a very alkaline diet. I mentioned that like carbonated beverages and sugar acidify the body. We want to consume alkaline foods, which are going to change the internal pH to help be in favor of immune cell production and for good probiotics to thrive, for proper liver and kidney function, etc. So lots of dark greens, cruciferous vegetables, things like that. You want to specifically increase your dark leafy greens and other chlorophyll-rich foods, as these are going to help really, really, really boost the immune support that you already have. So greens, dark leafy greens contain B vitamins and so many other vitamins and minerals that we need for immune support, and they also alkalize the body as well. So super important there. Lastly, you want to increase the consumption of foods with a high lysine to arginine ratio, so foods that are high in lysine and relatively low in arginine, which is mainly many types of fish. So get good wild-caught fish in, and those will give you those high lysine, low arginine foods that are also high in protein, so you're still hitting your protein goals. So what can we do in terms of supplements? Well, there's a lot. I could literally go on for days talking about the different ways we can support the immune system and target viruses. My go-to is homeopathics. I make beautiful homeopathic protocols that go to the cellular level to target viruses and things like that. But they are very, very specific. I should say the thing about homeopathy, the beautiful thing, is that the remedies are extremely specific and tailored and chosen for the individual's unique set of symptoms. And so they're not something that I can just share across the board here, because they would change dramatically from one person to the next. But some basic supplemental recommendations I can give you. First and foremost, probiotics. Typically, if somebody's having some kind of viral burden in the system, it's indicative that there's not enough probiotics in the gut, which is typically how things start and how a weakened immunity starts as well. So boost your probiotics. Take lots of them, supplement for like a full year, just daily or every other day. Get a good amount in, at least 50 billion a day if possible. And this can really help to strengthen our gut. And remember, 70 to 80% of our immune system is in our gut. So we want a good, healthy, functioning colon. You can also take lysine. So lysine, like we said, can really help to inhibit the growth, the viral growth of herpes. So you can consume lysine in supplement form, or you can just eat lysine-rich foods. But typically, somebody who's flaring quite frequently might need to supplement. Calcium could help as well. Now, I'm not a huge fan of actually supplementing with calcium. I usually find that most people today don't need calcium, but in fact need a lot of magnesium. And calcium can actually form growths in the body because of our lack of magnesium. So with that being said, if you are to take calcium, definitely please take magnesium glycinate alongside. But calcium could help as well. In the book, Balancing Body Chemistry with Nutrition by Dr. Robert Piszek, he writes that lesions appear when calcium levels are low in the blood due to the low transport of calcium bicarbonate from the small intestine into the blood. Calcium can also decrease acidity in the body. So if you are to take calcium, take an absorbable form, but also at the same time, please take magnesium. And remember that if you're not having absorption from the gut into the bloodstream, it's not a calcium deficiency, it's poor calcium absorption. So that means you need to increase stomach acid levels. Maybe you have an underactive stomach, and you want to make sure that if you are to be eating foods that are calcium rich, that you're consuming them with some sour things, so lemon or apple cider vinegar, and also make sure you're consuming them with some protein for complete absorption into the bloodstream. You could also do a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate in a glass of water and just do it like daily or every other day during an outbreak, which could help. Although be careful with this because if you have any kidney issues, it's not something you want to do. And then also zinc. Zinc helps prevent eruptions. I like zinc picolinate. You can apply zinc topically too, like directly to the lesions, and you can also take it orally. So if you feel that you want to do both, it could actually be very beneficial to help heal the lesions quicker and help to fight the virus quicker internally. Now, vitamins A and C with bioflavonoids help in the recovery of epithelia from all infections, not just herpes. So that's always a good idea to take vitamins A and C. Strengthen those epithelial linings. Vitamin E can decrease pain. So vitamin E and Lactobacillus acidophilus are also effective for mouth infections in general, but also herpes. So if you have some pain, you want to take them together. It can help with any infections in the mouth, and also in terms of like the herpes infection as well. Now, you want to look at your thymus. Typically, our thymus gland is a big part of it's where our immune cells are made. So thymus extracts, like some kind of organotherapy or glandular, can help strengthen the cell-mediated immune response, boost that immune system, again, have healthy T cell production, specifically for the Th1 immune system. Now, fish oil and other essential fatty acids can be really helpful too. I recommend doing, if you're going to do a fish oil, to do it with glutathione if you have any kind of chronic inflammation, as it will go rancid in the body potentially if you don't have enough glutathione status to help protect the fats and prevent them from going rancid and becoming inflammatory. So I talked about this in a whole other podcast as well. Would definitely have a listen to it. I talked about standard pro-resolving mediators. So listen to that podcast episode if you want to know more about the fish oil and the glutathione concept. But fish oil can be really helpful for our immune system, as our immune system needs lots of EPA and DHA to function. Plant sterols can be great for the immune system as well. They also help with cholesterol and so many other things. But whenever anybody has any kind of inflammation, chronic viral burden, anything like that, it needs immune support. I always like to get them on plant sterols. Genestra has a great supplement called Cholesterol, C-O-L, Sterol. It's a beautiful supplement, not sponsored. I just love using that with my clients. But again, always check with your doctor before supplementing with anything. We're almost to the end of the supplement side of things. So quercetin is great. N-acetylcysteine also has phenomenal antiviral properties. I would say it's in almost every protocol I would do. There's some situations where someone shouldn't take N-acetylcysteine, especially if you have any kind of fibrosis or fibrotic type of condition. Don't take a NAC, but most people it works so well and it's such a potent antiviral and can definitely give great benefits. Then we have selenium, which I love honestly for like adrenal and thyroid support, but it's a fantastic immune remedy as well because selenium helps to strengthen our immune system. A couple other things would be some immune builders. So this is where we take things to directly boost the Th1 side of the immune system. Things like berberine and glutathione, sulforaphane, and ginger. Those can be fantastic to take in combination or on their own to boost the immune system. And then finally, things like chaga, medicinal mushroom, cordyceps, reishi, lion's mane. Medicinal mushrooms have potent antiviral properties, but also potent immune building properties. So some other lifestyle factors that we can do is just make sure that we're supporting our immune system by getting ample, regular, good quality sleep. So go to bed at the right time. Don't go to bed at 1 a.m. Go to bed around 10:30. Get a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Have good sleep hygiene. I go into extensive information on how to have good, proper, deep sleep on my website. But also maintain consistent, frequent exercise. Move your body. Don't get sluggish. Don't just sit around all day. That's definitely going to tank your immune system. In order to have strong vitality, which means a strong immune system, we need to have flow. Our body needs to be in movement, in motion. So definitely move the body. You also want to reduce stress and practice stress management techniques. That's your deep breathing, utilizing aromatherapy, cutting any stress from your life that's not needed, taking adaptogens, getting good sleep, all that good stuff. Also, transcutaneous vagal nerve stimulation has shown incredible effects for COVID, for inhibiting COVID virus and overall boosting the immune system. So I think it's a great idea for anyone who has any chronic viruses to try transcutaneous vagal nerve stimulation, which I've also gone into extensive detail on through all my socials. But this is something that can really help to boost your immune system. You can also apply an ice cube, some oregano oil, vitamin E, or even lysine ointment topically to the newly erupting lesion, which may halt the outbreak. And then get lots of good, safe exposure to sunlight and avoid exposure to cigarette smoke and other pollutants that are going to tank your immune system. A couple botanicals to consider would be raspberry and licorice root tea. These are great for targeting herpes. The only thing is they are more of like hormonal remedies. So for any of the guys out there, just be careful taking raspberry and licorice root tea long term. If you're doing it acutely, should not be a problem at all. So those are my tips and suggestions for the herpes virus. Again, there's some beautiful antiviral homeopathics that you could look into and get on a protocol for working at the cellular level. But just to start off, those are some good things to work towards. Just really clearing out and cleaning out the diet, focusing on getting good nutrition, good amount of water, good sleep, stress reduction. Take some of those supplements for the immune system that I mentioned, and you should already have great improvement with your immune system and therefore the herpes virus. So I hope that this helps. If you have any questions, you can always let me know and contact me through my social. I hope you guys have a beautiful day or night wherever you are listening from, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye.